this morning's topic is lying. Lying. I believe it's the easiest con the devil has going, meaning it's the easiest thing for him to suck us into. We get most easily tempted just to cover up our tracks, to try and get out of trouble, or to do what we want when we know we're not supposed to, and we tell lies in order to make that happen. We have to realize, though, when we're doing that, who we're actually following. Look at the scripture. Notice on your note page today, there's a blank line at the top where it says scripture. You'll have a couple scriptures you can write down in there, including some when you get to your group today. So save some space, but write down this scripture. It's on the screen. John 8:44. And here's what he says. There's the proper page. I'm going to actually start at verse 43. If God were your Father, you would love me, for I have come from God. Come here from God. I have not come on my own. God sent me. Why is my language not clear to you? Interesting. He was speaking the same language, but they weren't seeing it. They weren't getting it. He says, he answered, because you are unable to hear what I say. You belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth. That's strong words right there, saying that you belong to the devil, calling him your father instead of the God the Father. A murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth. For there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. When he lies, he speaks his native language. So, that's the question for today. Are you a liar? Look on your note page. You'll see it written there. I am a liar, yes or no? And I just want you to circle something there. Are you a liar? Circle yes or circle no. Here's the next scripture we're going to look at, and I'll put it on the screen here. It's from the book of 1 John, chapter 1, verse 8. John says, if we say we have no sin, we are deceiving ourselves, and the truth, that's the opposite of a lie. The truth is not in us. If we say we have no sin. So obviously, it's honest to shoot straight and to be real. To not lie about the fact that we're a liar. We make the mistake of lying. I've actually heard some people say in trials or in courtrooms, he wouldn't lie. Parents about their children, oh, she would never tell a lie. Christy and I, we think that's a kind of silly stance for parents to take because it's not being honest. We do make mistakes and people do get deceived into telling lies. I say deceived because I think that whenever we tell a lie, at that moment we think this is the smartest thing for us. We think this makes the most sense. But it's not true. It really doesn't. So let's just be honest. Well, can you remember the specific commandment where we're told not to lie? And what does it say? Where is it from? Anybody? It's one of the 10 commandments. It's not the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, even the 7th commandment. Might not even be the 8th commandment. But here it is in the book of Exodus, chapter 20. You can also find it in Deuteronomy, chapter 5. Exodus 20, though, verse 16 says this. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not bear false witness. We're going to look up a different scripture in your groups a little bit later, and it'll have that same phrase in there. False witness against your neighbor. I want you to look at that and figure out, what does false witness mean? Who is a false witness? There's an interesting story told in the book of Exodus where the Hebrew midwives were going, and basically the king had commanded that they kill all the firstborn boys. He didn't want the new leader coming up and trumping him. And this story happens a few times in the Bible, but Pharaoh wanted to kill the firstborn of all the Israelites. And so he sends them out he tells the midwives to go and kill the kids. But they make up a story. It's in the book of Exodus chapter 1, verses 17 to 21. They lied in order to protect the babies, in order to save lives. So the question I wonder is, were they bearing false witness against their neighbor? Or were they actually helping their neighbor not commit a murder. Interesting way to think about it. I want you to consider thinking about these commandments, how lying is connected to other sins. Stealing, cheating, murder, and adultery. They're all in here in the 10 Commandments. Stealing, cheating, murder, adultery. We get in the habit of doing those things, and in every situation when we steal or cheat on a test, obviously with murder, we're somehow a part of a lie too. In order to steal something from someone else, we have to pretend this is mine, this belongs to me. We have to live a lie after stealing. Cheating on a test, we're actually lying, saying, yes, I knew this information. We're being tested based on how well we've studied and what we've learned, and we're lying. Cheating is lying. Same thing with murder. With murder, none of us have the authority to take another person's life, but somehow a person is convincing themselves that, yes, I have the authority to do that, and then afterwards they lie to cover it up. And adultery is the same thing. It's breaking a promise. It is committing a lie and then trying to live out a lie. Sometimes we're caught in awkward spots, awkward places, and like for these Hebrew ladies that were not bearing false witness against their neighbor, but we're stretching the truth, it can be hard not to tell a lie. For example, there was a manager who was asked by his laziest employee for a recommendation for a different job. And sometimes it's hard to say difficult things to people, awkward things to say. And so he said he'd think about it, and the next day he'd get back to him. And that's just what he did. Finally, this is what he wrote, this one simple line. Something that he could say that would be honest, but wouldn't hurt the young man's chances. He finally wrote to the new company, "You'll be lucky if you can get him to work for you." And that's what we end up doing sometimes. We try and be sneaky with the truth. Here's what I want you to understand. God's rules, His protections for us, they're just that, protections. The 10 Commandments aren't there so that we just do the right thing. They're there to protect us. And honesty is one of the best shields that we can have. I put it above our head like an umbrella, but it can be a shield like this to protect us. Being honest in life will protect you. Lying in life will cause you to have to lie more and more, and you'll just get in more and more and more trouble. On my last note page here, my last slide, it says lies and punishment. And that's what it says at the bottom of your note page, lies and punishment. I want you to know that one of the greatest motivators in our life to help us if we're struggling with telling the truth is love. Love is a great motivation for not lying. And what do I mean by that? I mean showing care for another person. What's the best motivator to not lie to your parents? Well, recognizing that your relationship with them is important, and caring about them means being honest. Same thing with any friend in your life. If you're lying to someone, you're not caring about them, and you're going to cause pain down the road. You're going to cause pain. And you're going to have to either just keep lying, which always makes things worse, or be honest. I want to encourage you to be honest. Honesty is always the best policy. Sometimes parents have tough things to say to their kids, but they want to hide it. Like there can be sickness in the family or cancer, and they want to protect a person's feelings. Just be honest. Just shoot straight. This is what's really going on. Whenever you make a mistake, the temptation is to hide it, to lie about it, to say, no, I didn't do that. Watch this guy. He was being dumb with a gun. And
your hand underneath the trigger guard and roll your palms together. So both your hands are going to sit on the left-hand side of the pistol. You're going to lock out both your arms. You're going to push with your right and pull with your left. Focus on that front sight tip. Now, if you want on this 44 Magnum, you can shoot it single action. With a nice light trigger pull.
Did you mean to do that?
Yeah.
the guy just made a mistake. And his initial response is, no, that wasn't, I meant to do that. Yeah, I meant to do that. Here's the thing about the truth. The truth always reflects God. Why? Because it's who He is. It's what He is. God is truth. So trust Him in the truth. Be the truth. Let the truth come out of you and enjoy the protections and provisions that come along with it.